Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mike, and today we have another product review with a great product that I've tested and used for, at this point, years. So let's go ahead and get right into it, and we can go over some of the details. Today we have the Benchmade North Fork by the Benchmade Knife Company, located in Portland, Oregon. I'd like to go over some statistics about this particular knife. This knife is made in Portland, Oregon, so it's an all-American made knife, and they advertise that accordingly. Some of the statistics are, and the steel grade is, it's a CPM steel, S30V. That's a famous steel. It's traditionally known for knife making. A lot of manufacturers like this steel, being it's so robust. The edge quality, it stays very sharp for a long period of time through some pretty harsh conditions. And, of course, the rust resistance. This is a stainless steel. Stainless steel is obviously known to prevent rust, corrosion. So that's extremely helpful when dealing with an everyday carry or an item that, it's going to see moisture, humidity, etc., things that oxidize metal. The dimensions of this knife. The length is 6.9 inches, so just shy of 7 inches there. And the width is 0.5 of an inch, so just half an inch in width, which is really nice. It's comfortable in the pocket. The weight of this knife is 0.32 ounces. It's not heavy at all. I mean, you feel the weight, but honestly, you want that in a blade, a pocket knife. Benchmade, as many of you might know, or if not, they use their own locking system called the Axis locking mechanism. Now, this mechanism is, as you can see up here, is this little widget right there, that little knob. So to open and close the knife, you have to pull that back and close. Now the knife will close right up, and to open it, you don't necessarily need to push that in, but as you can see, it'll automatically move as you pull the knife out of its sheath there, its internal sheath. So just like that, and then locks into place. Now that's called the Axis locking system. It's one of Benchmade's signature features. Why I personally like it a lot. The reason being is you can use it one-handed. So you pull back and kind of close it like that, which is really comfortable, really easy to do, no risk of cutting yourself or hurting yourself. And to open it, you just simply pull it open, and it locks right into place. No issues at all. It's never gonna slide or accidentally break on you or close on your fingers. So it's really safe and it's robust. Additionally, it's easy to flick open. Now, they don't use any kind of spring-loaded technology or spring-assisted device inside of here. What you see is what you get. You get that little bar that locks the blade in, and just the shape of the blade itself kind of allows it to give that snapping feature, and of course the snap feature open. So it's really easy to deploy and to put away when you're done. The Axis locking mechanism is ambidextrous, so you have it on both sides, which is a nice feature for left-handed use, which is a little uncomfortable for me, and of course the right-handed use. So that's a nice feature. The Benchmade North Fork sports a drop tip point. Traditionally, this knife comes from the Hunt series that Benchmade offers, and of course Hunt is for hunting. It's a hunting knife, guys. No surprise there. So the drop point, as you can see, it has a slight drop down at the tip, and what that's used for is processing game in the field, field dressing, when you need to kind of get between a certain point and slice. You won't have any case of snagging, as you can see there. As I slide the spine of the blade up along my finger, this tip stays above and elevated, so there is no snagging. Yet you have your rounded cutting surface where you can easily get between flesh or sinew or muscle and slide right out without any risk of damage to the tissue beneath. So that's traditionally a hunting purpose. I have used it in the field. I do hunt, and I do enjoy bringing this knife with me. It's perfect for that reason. It's a flawless design, tried and true. Benchmade did not design that. That's a known feature. What Benchmade did do was they added some grooving here, some texture. So when you do have the knife and you are doing some skinning or some cleaning, some processing in the field, you have a spot for your finger to kind of grip onto, whether you're wearing gloves or you're barehanded, and you can kind of help guide that process. You can kind of help guide that knife, further preventing that point from touching any area you don't want it to touch, which I think is a great feature. They did not have to add that, but it's extremely helpful. And of course, they have it on the back here where you traditionally, you'll put your thumb or you'll put your finger, something to choke up on. That texture really helps out. I appreciate that. A little more texture, if you will, more of a design feature, but it, helps it grip in the palm of your hand. It's great. It's a great design. Now, Benchmade as a company, they offer a guarantee for life. So that means you pay for shipping, send it back to Benchmade if any issues or problems go wrong, and they will replace it for you. They'll take care of the charge. Now that also includes free sharpening. You send this knife back, you pay for shipping, which I've done in the past. Great customer service. You just have to prepare to not have your knife for a week, up to 2 weeks. It can take some time depending on where you live. Now, I'm from the East Coast. I live in New Jersey, so Portland, Oregon is kind of far away. So it takes a good 2 weeks for them to get the knife, maintenance, service it, and then send it back, which isn't that big of a deal for me. I have other knives in my collection. I can go 2 weeks without it, knowing that this knife is going to come back, not just razor sharp, factory sharp, but they also do a really nice job cleaning the knife. They get between, they do a full, whether it's a mechanical or chemical cleaning. They polish the knife for me, and they send it back almost as good as new. Of course, with the little wear and tear that I've put on it over the years, comes back pretty good. Speaking of wear and tear, guys, I've had this knife for almost 7 years. Yes, it's been a long time, a long run with this knife. It's great. It really is. You can see some of the wear. I have some chemical staining on that just from what I do for a living. I deal with a lot of corrosive chemicals. Of course, opening drums, opening bottles, and this and that. You'll see some exposure, and the chemicals just stain the blade there. But, of course, I use it with my own discretion. I know what I'm getting into, and that's the result of that. Just some minor chemical staining. I don't have a problem with it. The knife stays sharp, performs. If you notice, I have a silver clip here. Now this is called a spade clip for that little spade reason right there. Now I actually sanded this. I just took some sandpaper, some 1000 grit or whatever it was, sanded that off, took the black paint off because what I did notice was the black paint was chipping over time, and I didn't like that chipped look. I just like a solid stain color. There's the original color up there where I couldn't get my sandpaper in. But if you can't live without that and you're a perfectionist, you can order this clip. The Benchmade company will provide a brand new one for free. It is called the Nakamura 484 clip. Now, I'll put that somewhere on the video here where you can see how to spell that, and you simply just order that clip. It'll come right in. You can screw these off, little Allen wrench, and pop a new one up. That brings me back to some of the wear of the knife. The one thing that I noticed in my experience is this gets loose over time. As you can see, it's a little bit loose, but it stays in there pretty good. I think I've tightened this down one time in all the years that I've owned the knife, and it doesn't bother me. It's a little loose, a little wiggly, but it snaps right in, holds on pretty well, and there's no issues there. The next little bit of wear over all the years of having this knife is, as you can see, there's some cracking. Now, I'll go into what this material is in just a moment, but you can see that it's starting to split just like wood would split. So far, no problems. So far, no issues. It does have some wear. It will mark up and dent if you give it a good, abuse. It'll also chip. See if you can see there's some slight chipping going on. I'm not sure when that happened, but it's not an issue. It's not continuing. It kind of just rounded itself off over use, and that's about as far as damage and wear is on the knife. The thing is holding up really well. No mechanical problems at all. Pops right open, snaps right into place like it should, and stays nice and sturdy for while I'm using it. Deploys back in, and that's the end of it. So I really do appreciate the craftsmanship and the robust ability that goes into this knife. I'd like to go over some of the material in this wood handle. Upon purchasing this knife, I was under the impression, doing the little research that I did, that this was just an authentic hardwood, um, as it looks very close to it. But upon further investigation, you can see that there's some slight machining or some kind. It looks almost synthetic in places, um, kind of patterned. Now, upon further investigation on that, I found that this handle is made from what's called diamond wood, which is laminated of hardwood pressed together with resin under extreme pressure and heat. The result of all of that is a synthetic handle with a pretty good wood appearance. It's it looks like wood, feels like wood, it chips like wood. Where was it? There it is. Chips like wood. So it's just a harder, more robust wood, but technically it's not authentic. It is synthetic. So that's that. Nothing too much of a problem there for me. I can get used to that. Now, finally, my opinion of the knife. As always, I always scatter my opinion in throughout the statistics and the review, but I want to just go ahead and say I absolutely love this knife. I've had this knife for, like I said, it's been a long time, almost 7 years, something like that. It's it's been with me every single day. Of course, the days that I remember to bring it with me, and that's pretty close. Now, when I tell you I take this thing everywhere with me, everywhere. I've had to leave this at airports to pick it up after my trip. I've had to, run back to the car at amusement parks to put this away. Really, I just put this thing in my pocket every morning with my keys, wallet, phone, etc., and it just is part of my everyday life. It's an extension of me at this point. So, I really love this knife. It stays sharp. It's easy to sharpen when it's time to sharpen if you know how to do that, and if not, Benchmade backs it up with that lifetime warranty, that lifetime guarantee that they have, and they'll sharpen it right up for you. So overall, I give this knife a 10 out of 10. I really do love this knife, and I recommend anybody that is inquiring for a new everyday carry knife to go out and check this one out. The price point on this is about $115, so it is a little steep for a pocket knife. If you lose knives, you have a tendency of losing knives, I don't recommend this. But if you don't, and you can, retain a pocket knife for, I would say, more than a year, 2 years, this is the knife for you. Very robust. It's helpful. Use it in all scenarios, and yeah, you can find this knife down below. If you go to click on the Amazon link, you can find it 2-day shipping if you have Prime. If not, free shipping for all their services. So it's pretty good. Like I said, $115 price point, and this is about the most solid knife you can get, guys. That's it for my review. Have a nice day now. Take care.